Be honest, did you quit on your New Year's resolutions already? It's okay, most people do. By the start of February, 91% of people have already given up or hit pause on their goals. But you promised yourself this year would be different. And I get it, life happened, but here we are. But don't worry, I have some good news. You can turn it all around right now after watching this video, because I'm gonna break down the 10 scientifically proven ways to actually achieve your goals and make this year that you follow through. And look, I set some pretty big goals every single year. The first year that I had actually sat down, wrote out my goals, I probably achieved 20%. The next year after that, it was 40. Last year, I achieved 70% of my goals. And this year, I plan to do 90 to 100%. And again, I'm not talking about the little tiny goals. I'm talking about the big things like writing a book or doing a marathon. I'm talking about big, big goals. So first, we have to understand, why do most people quit? And I want to talk about why it's likely that you quit. First, it's probably lack of a clear vision. You know, you set some kind of vague goals like get fit or make more money. I get it, it's possible. Without specifics, your brain doesn't know how to follow through. The other thing is you're likely falling victim of perfectionism, and I get it, most people do. I'm guilty of it. My friends and family are guilty of it. And what happens is you miss one day and think, well, I already messed up, might as well stop. And maybe not even consciously, just subconsciously, and that gets in the way. Then you have no reward systems, and there's no dopamine hit along the way, so it's no fun and just feels like a grind. And goals shouldn't feel that way. The other thing you probably don't have is the lack of accountability, because no one's watching you, and you know it's easy to get off the hook with that. And the other thing is lack of daily actions, because goals, especially big ones, can be overwhelming when they're really, really big. And so breaking those goals down into smaller goals can help a lot. And so if any of this sounds familiar, let's fix it. So here are the 10 proven ways to achieve your goals. The very first thing that I think we should all just write down before we even start on our goals is understanding why. Why are you setting these goals? And if your goal doesn't have a deep emotional reason behind it, you probably won't stick with it. So ask yourself, why do I want this? Why do I want X? Why do I want Y, right? And tie it to something personal. So don't just say, I want to lose weight. Instead, I want to lose weight so I can run around with my kids without getting winded. When emotions are involved, motivation skyrockets. And the other super huge hack that I would advise to pair with this is actually writing everything down. Write down your goals, write down your why. What writing does is it actually engages the reticular activating system in your brain, signaling that the goal is important, and the more you revisit it, the more your subconscious aligns to make it happen. Yeah, this isn't some voodoo nonsense. It's actually science. So a pro tip is to keep a journal by your bedside and write your goals every morning. And I'm talking about the little goals that align to the big goals. Now, we of course have to talk about with the elephant in the room. It's like, well, if I write down these goals, what's next? This one's easy. You take daily action. The trick isn't massive effort. It's actually something super simple. It's called consistency. I'm sure you've heard of it. Even a small daily action compounds over time. For example, 5 push-ups a day, right, beats 100 in one session once a month, right? And the science behind it is even simpler. The brain thrives on repetition. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to rewire itself, and it happens faster with small, consistent actions. So if your goal is to write a book, commit to writing just 200 words a day. In a year, you'll have a 70,000 word manuscript. Next, we have creating rewards for milestones. You gotta remember to celebrate your progress. I love doing a party at the end of the year to reflect on my goals, to set new ones, and celebrate those goals that I had achieved. But also, you should celebrate small progress as well. And the reason why you wanna celebrate in general is because your brain craves dopamine. And those small rewards for each step that you get closer to the finish line is gonna have an immense impact on the actual achievement of your goals, because that helps create that consistency that we talked about. And here's a great way of doing it. So after every 2 weeks, let's say, of hitting the gym, treat yourself to a movie night or a cheat meal. The brain begins to associate that hard work with the positive reinforcement, and it's gonna have an immense impact long term. So the next thing I wanna talk about is to embrace that imperfection. Perfectionism kills progress. And I know it's like, but I wanna be perfect, or I wanna be really, really good. Well, done is better than perfect. Shift your mindset to progress, not perfection. You see, studies show that perfectionists are more likely to procrastinate because they fear failure. So allow room for mistakes and keep moving. Aim for, let's say, 70% completion. Often, that's enough to see results and actually get the thing done or move onto the next thing that you want to get done. So it's really powerful, and perfectionism, although it sounds great on paper, is actually just a silent killer of your goals. The next super powerful way to achieve your goals is to find an accountability partner. Find someone to hold you to it. Research shows you're 65% more likely to achieve a goal when you have someone checking in on you. So just with accountability partner and writing down your goals, you're already 100% more likely to achieve your goals. Now, of course, if you're only 10% likely to even go for it, well, with those two, you're 20%, right? So it's really, really powerful because it actually doubles the likelihood of you achieving it with just having an accountability partner and writing them down. But why does an accountability partner work so immensely? Well, knowing someone will ask you about your progress triggers the brain's social accountability mechanisms. So, for example, you could join a fitness class, you could join a mastermind group, or simply text a friend weekly updates. And the best way to do it is to have your friend, that is also a goal setter, send you their weekly updates, and you can actually progress together. And although this one works really well paired with the first one that we talked about with writing goals down, this next one also has some pretty profound effects. And that is to visualize success daily. Spend just 2 minutes each day imagining yourself succeeding, doing the things that you promise yourself you do. And visualization increases performance by up to 35%. And you might be thinking, there's no science behind this. But you'd be wrong. Visualization activates the same neural pathways as physical action, training your brain to expect success. You still have to take the action. You can't just visualize yourself into, achieving things. But even athletes visualize winning games. So why not use the same thing that they use to maybe win a few games of your own, right? And you can do the same thing by imagining your future self thriving at work or fitness or just even your personal goals. And the best way of doing this is not just to visualize, write it down, take action, all these things, is to also remove the friction. You want the smallest path of resistance to your goals. So if the path is easier, well, then you won't have to work as hard to get there. So if you want to work out, for example, lay out your clothes the night before. Maybe you want to eat healthier. Just prep your meals ahead so you have no choice when you're hungry to just grab a meal and eat it rather than, either having to cook something or order in because you have nothing made or even just late night snacking. Remember that habits stick when the effort to start is actually super, super small. By reducing barriers, you increase follow through. So you want to read more, place a book on your pillow so you have to move it before sleeping. Next, we have tracking progress. So whatever gets measured gets managed. This is going all the way back to, writing your goals down. And that's why I have a checklist. So if I have a checklist, I'm already writing things down because I have to write it down to, check it off. And then by checking it off, I get dopamine and I also track the progress. So if you track your habits and your results, you will continue to stay motivated. And why this works is because tracking triggers dopamine. Super powerful, right? Your goal achievement feels more like a game. And who doesn't like video games? So use habit trackers or apps. You can use Notion to basically visualize your progress. I personally love using a whiteboard, but you can do it in a bunch of different ways and still get profound effects. And I know I said this video is going to have only 10 ideas, but because you made it all the way through, after this, I'm also gonna share with you my must-read books to boost your success. But number 10, remember to reframe failures as lessons. A lot of times we get into this groove and then all of a sudden we make a mistake. And then we say, maybe this wasn't for me, or maybe I'm not meant to do this. Remember that failure isn't actually the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every setback, think of it as a lesson, not a signal to quit. So if you miss a workout, don't see it as, oh, I failed and I'm never gonna get fit. Think of it as, hey, let me take some rest today. Or maybe I needed that rest and I'm gonna try again tomorrow. So, okay, you made it all the way through. Hopefully you've been taking notes. And if you haven't, you can go back, watch this 2 times speed, write it down, maybe even save this video for the future. But let's also talk about crushing your goals because I want you to actually achieve them this year. So what you need to do is fuel your mind with the right knowledge. Besides these 10 helpful tips, you can also read these books that completely change the game of productivity. First, Start with Why by Simon Sinek. So if you don't know your why, read this book. It'll help you with that purpose. 2, Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. This is a masterclass in self-control and how discipline shapes success. 3. Atomic Habits by James Clear, the blueprint for building small habits that lead to massive success. 4. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Grit, resilience, pushing past the limits you set for yourself or even the limits that other people have set for you. An amazing book. And 5, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. This has timeless principles for personal and professional effectiveness. And here's the thing, most people will quit. That's just a fact of life. But you don't have to. Take 1 or 2 of these strategies, apply them today, maybe, after you get in a good groove, come back, watch this video, and apply 2 more, apply 3 more, and just keep going. Even if you stumble, keep moving forward. The difference between those who quit and those who succeed is simply persistence. I mean, sure, a little bit of luck, a little bit of hard work, a little bit of being in the right place at the right time, in the right moment, whatever. But at the end of the day, all of that aside, persistence is the only factor that mattered. And this year can be different, but it starts with what you do right now. So let me know in the comments, what's one goal you refuse to give up on this year? And I know this usually is a business or investing channel, but today I wanted to really share how I got this far. I'm 4 years, almost 5 years into this YouTube journey. And one of the biggest things is people ask me, how do you not give up? How do you not stop making content? You've made hundreds of pieces, thousands of pieces of content. And you're not a multi-millionaire from these videos. It's like the reason I do this is to help you guys. And at the same time, as a reminder for me that persistence is the biggest thing to getting things done. So with that in mind, be persistent, be bold, don't let people pull you down. I believe in you, you got this. And if you wanna see more content like this, you really enjoyed this, subscribe to the channel. And I also have launched a health channel. So if you wanna go check that out, it's gonna be down in the description. Maybe I'll pin it in the comments. It's been around for a little bit, but I'm really picking it up this year because it's all about persistence, right? Anyway, thanks for watching. And YouTube actually thinks you'll enjoy one of these pieces of content as well. Peace.